Hello everyone, today it's time for cases again. As always, if you haven't watched the previous parts, I strongly suggest you do that first. So, up to this point, we know that cases have to do with the grammatical function of a word in a sentence. And in practice, we know that just means that the same word comes in a variety of other forms in Slovene, meaning at certain times a letter or two changes, is added, or goes missing. We also know that there are 6 such cases in Slovene, and that besides case, the form of a noun is also determined by number and gender. We've also learned that one case doesn't equal one grammatical function, which is very important. What you need to be aware of is that basically a case is just an ending, it's just a specific couple of different letters. However, the problem is that it's difficult to just memorize them without any other information or context. So, even though one case does not equal one grammatical function, we'll get to know all 6 of them one case at a time by remembering one main function for each specific case. It's important we give each case a personality, so to speak. The cases are always listed in the same order from 1 to 6. Their English names are the nominative, the genitive, the dative, the accusative, the locative, and the instrumental. And in Slovene they're called imenovalnik, rodilnik, dajalnik, tožilnik, mestnik, and orodnik. Okay, now let's provide an example sentence for each case. Starting with the nominative, we have this is Natasha. The superscript numbers will signify which case this would be in Slovene. This is Natasha is to je Natasha in Slovene. Our genitive example is I don't see Natasha, which is ne vidim Natashe, Natashe in Slovene. Now, what's weird to native English speakers is that given names are also subject to the same changes as other nouns, pronouns, and adjectives. They feel that the sequence of letters in given names shouldn't be changed, since the word as a whole is tied to the identity of the person. In English, Natasha is Natasha no matter the context. In Slovene, though, it does change. Moving on, an example of the dative case is I give Natasha a flower. In Slovene, it's rožo dam Nataši, Nataši. The accusative is, for example, I see Natasha, which in Slovene is vidim Natašo, Natašo. For the locative, we have the party is at Nataša's. Zabava je pri Nataši, pri Nataši. And for the instrumental, it's I'm going with Natasha. Grem z Natašo, z Natašo. The numbers 1 to 6 signify the different cases of the word Natasha in Slovene. Now, why is the Natasha in This is Natasha marked with number 1 and the Natasha in I see Natasha marked with number 4? To answer the question, just like we mentioned previously, let's list the main function by which we can remember a particular case. The nominative deals with the basic form of the noun. Imagine a sign that says park. It's basically saying this is a park, and in sentences like that, you're dealing with the nominative. In the case of to je Natasha, Natasha is the subject complement, and in sentences like he is a lawyer or she is a doctor, both lawyer and doctor are in the nominative. This isn't that important though, just remember the nominative for naming things. It's the basic form of a noun, pronoun, or adjective. We'll skip right to the accusative, since it's the most important and most common case in everyday life. Use the accusative with a direct object. Sentences like I want, I need, I see, I love, I like, and so on all take the accusative in Slovene. You can remember this function with the help of the English verb to accuse. In the sentence, they accused him or they accused the man, him or the man is the direct object, and it's no different in Slovene. However, once you negate a sentence that has a direct object in the accusative, it then has to take the genitive. The genitive is used with negated direct objects. So, whenever you have an affirmative sentence with a direct object in the accusative, the negated sentence will have an object in the genitive. However, not all negated objects are in the genitive, of course. If you negate an object in other cases, for example the dative, the case remains the same. This only holds true for the accusative and the genitive, so you can remember them as a complementary pair when it comes to this function. You can practice forming simple sentences with the accusative and then negating them with the genitive. I know Peter and I don't know Peter, for example. The first sentence takes the accusative and the second one the genitive. The dative is used with indirect objects. The most important verb to keep in mind here is to give. In the sentence I give Natasha a flower, Natasha is the indirect object and a flower the direct object. Incidentally, if you remove the last two letters from dative, you're left with dati, and dati is the Slovene verb to give. So remember the dative for dati or to give. Okay, let's keep it short with the locative and instrumental. Now this is very much an overgeneralization, but for now just remember that the locative is used with location, even though location isn't nearly governed by the locative alone. And the main word to remember with the instrumental is the preposition with. Whenever saying with someone or something, you have to use the instrumental in Slovene. Notice that the dative case ending is the same as the locative, and that the accusative case ending is the same as the instrumental. However, please see that with the locative and instrumental there are prepositions as well. Pri in this case is at, and z is with. The locative and instrumental can never be used without a preposition, though the prepositions do change. The genitive, dative, and accusative can be used with or without a preposition. Certain prepositions demand a particular case, and you'll learn this as you go along. So, to bring the lesson to an end, again, please do remember that cases have many more functions and they're used in many more other contexts. At the end of the day, in practice, cases are just different forms of words or different endings. However, when just starting out, it's very useful to memorize the 6 functions we've listed. Especially if you're coming from a language that lacks a complex case system, it's useful to remember one function in order to have a starting point at all. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and learned something new. As always, good luck, study hard, and aim for the stars.